All right, good morning, everyone. Let's kick it off. All right, last night's session in the States was a real rebound. I mean, you can see how hard we pushed higher earlier on in the session. From there, we really just moved out to the right, but more or less finishing on the highs of the day. You can see there every sector in the green outside of the utility sector, and very quietly we've literally clawed back everything for the most part. I mean, the Nasdaq last night finished at a 12-year high, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. 14-year high, sorry about that. 14-year high. The S&P is literally, I don't know, maybe 15 points off of an all-time high, so less than 1%. So, very quickly after looking like we were going to get some sort of significant correction, we're already threatening to take out the high. So, but a very quiet, kind of sneaky reversal here in equity markets, and really just driven in most part by lack of continuation from some of the bearish news that we had seen, and we continue to see lots of M&A action in global markets at the moment. You've got another series of M&A going on right now, where the bidding war over Family Dollar in the States, and obviously, M&A is very bullish for markets, so you got to keep that in mind. If we look at the Asian session overnight, you can see there that the Nikkei was strong, along with Aussie and the Kospi. The Hang Seng in Shanghai lagging a little bit again, but same sort of thing, probably just following on the back of the States. We did have Billiton that was up relatively strong, along with Rio Tinto and some of the other mining stocks. Billy's has earnings, which are out a little bit later. Big expectations there. I think maybe needing to see about a $3 billion buyback. Also some anticipation over what they're going to do with some of this unbundling. So it'll be an interesting earnings release when that comes out. All right, we got a cool chart here out of from Business Insider. This is showing this quarter's earnings. It's showing the companies from the S&P 500 that have had positive and negative earnings guidance. So the guidance for the third quarter has actually come in. I think the number was 63%. Negative in terms of earnings guidance going forward, and you can see there some of the sectors, the utilities and telecom services. Every one of them guided lower than expectations for the third quarter, and most every sector, in fact, is actually more negative than positive outside of materials and energy. So that's, I think, it's telling. We continue to look at the same sort of thing. We continue to look at margin expansion that's driving markets at the moment. It's not revenue. We're not seeing a whole lot of revenue growth. We had some. In fact, we had Jim Chanos last night making some big comments out there about the lack of revenue growth and how the market's living on borrowed time unless the consumer comes back into the game and we start to see some expansion from overall revenue. So a very important thing that we're watching here. I think that this is not going to be able to obviously last forever. All right, today we've got a lot of stocks out with earnings. We've got BHP Billiton, which is going to come out now. We've also got ShopRite, and then later in the States we've got Home Depot. So obviously a couple big ones for us to pay attention to, being Billiton and ShopRite. If we look at market data today, we had Japanese machine tool orders, which came in dead in line with prior numbers. We have the ECB current account that comes out at 10. We've got lots of data out of the UK, including CPI, retail index, RPI, PPI, input and output numbers. In the States later, we've also got CPI, housing starts, and building permits. So not a whole lot that's probably gonna move markets. Potentially out of the UK, we could see some movements in sterling on the back of that because of where we are right now in the interest rate cycle, and markets kind of wavering over where John Carney is. So definitely probably worth paying attention to those numbers today. All right, let's get into the maps. All right, first thing we're going to have a look at here is SAB. We're going to look at this on the local charts, and Mike Lewis put us onto this one yesterday. Beautiful setup here in SA Breweries, and you can see there very symmetrical, and this inverse head and shoulder. In fact, today is kind of the day of the head and shoulder. There's a lot of head and shoulder setups out there. Rather, some of them inverse, some of them just normal head and shoulders. But you can see here the neckline very clearly is down here around about 578, 579, somewhere in that area. We pushed up above it in yesterday's session, kind of flagged out to the right, and really closed more or less at the highs of the day. We're going to have to watch to see that follow through today, but I think buying it anywhere closer to 580, we probably got a good 15 Rand to 17 Rand upside from the breakout here. So we'll be looking at, call it 595 potentially on the target here, short-term target in SA Breweries. All right, we're going to stick on the 30-minute. I'm going to go and we're going to look at First Rand. Come on. Okay, here we go. First Rand also head and shoulders, like I said, day of the head and shoulder. We've got First Rand setting up in and pulling down to really test the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern. I think we're going to have to see, what I'd like to see personally is to see us drop below about 42.70 for me to really be convinced. I mean, if you draw the line straight across here, you can also make a case that you've got, that's the real support level. So somewhere around 42.70, I think we're going to need to drop to see this head and shoulder setup potentially come into play. We've probably got a target somewhere down close to 40 Rand on the back of this, on the back of a potential breakdown here out of First Rand. If you look at INP, Investec, another bank here, there's also potentially a little bit of a head and shoulder setting up. This is obviously not formed yet, but we potentially looking at as though we could form the same sort of pattern here, especially if we start to drop down a little bit below 92. We've got all the makings of a nice head and shoulder set up here, neckline down here around 88, same sort of thing. So I was struggling for a few pieces of material last night, so ended up we're having to look at possibly predicting a couple patterns here, but you got to wait and see that play out first. We got Nampak yesterday that broke out to new all-time highs there. You can see as well, kind of almost, looking a bit like a continuation pattern in the end. I mean, I think we had broke out maybe a bit before out of a little bit of a narrowing wedge, if you'd like to call it that, a little bit of a wedge pattern. Either way, we're taking out highs here. I think we've still got more upside in Nampak if you're interested in playing this stock here. And then last local one I want to show is Naspers. I think the hold yesterday out of Naspers was really, really important. We managed to kind of hang on to this sort of 1350 level. I know we showed this chart yesterday. We've shown it for a few days now. Tencent was really under big pressure yesterday morning. We were down 2% as we opened. We obviously opened lower, but we managed to very quickly regain 1350 and pretty much, mostly held it for the second half of the session. I think that's a big hold, big support here. Managing to hold it on a day like that when Tencent's under pressure, that's what you want to see. You actually want to see it really test hard on this support level and make a reversal up to the upside to really give you confidence that this is a major level and that it's gonna hang on and play out. So just watch this one near term. If we can build here a little bit more in the next couple sessions and start to push higher again, then I really think it's a good play here. And in Naspers. All right, and the last one that we'll have a look at here is CAS out of the UK. You can see here another head and shoulder setup for you guys that are playing in international markets. This level here around £3, definitely some sort of level. I mean, you can draw it down a little bit lower. Bottom line is between 290 and £3 is definitely the neckline of a head and shoulder, and we're getting very close to that sort of level. So nice little setup here in CAS potentially if you guys are playing in London at the moment. And that's it for today, guys. Trade it well.